Hi, does this make sense? So you'd have a training page, so kind of on the stats. So I call them say training stats, and then they could come in. So if they click that, say you could change that. So say if that was down as move one, but I could change that to say I could just type something in here. So say deadlift. There'd be a button for go, split, and stop. Okay, so you'd have two lines. So you have a line at the top, a line at the at the bottom, but it can go above or below it. And we just say poor flexion or poor flex, poor extension, safe, and that would be based on the Hi. So on the stats screen, right? What I want is that if you click another button, say here, like when they click this button, it would come into a screen like this that would say training. And what would happen then is like they'd be able to type in. So if they click move one, they could type in the name. So say they typed in deadlift, and then there'd be a button here that would say go. That would click, and then it would start kind of recording their moves, and you'd have say like safe. That'd be the safe zone. That'd be above. So like based on the calibration of the extension and the flexion, you could just see it would just track the movement. So like in the thing, it gives you those scores the whole time. So like when they flexed, if they've calibrated that and they've extended, they've calibrated that, it would just show how long they're in, and then they could press stop afterwards, and then they'd have like ideally then afterwards they'd have like their deadlift position. So say for move one they were like 80 or 90% of the time in a go. Now I like the above and below. Two things. One, it'd be great then if I can see this. So that's too small. That should be like the whole thing basically. Um, it's such a small limit, or it should be a lot more of the screen. Like there's not going to be more than 100 of a difference. So I don't know why it's always at the top. That's hard to to follow. Like just another thing I'm doing is just looking up different tracking apps. So if anybody knows a good tracking app, I'm literally going on Pinterest and Google and just seeing which ones they have. So I'm liking this type of page, but as any good tracking apps that they use that good to model, let me know. Just hit me up a message, please. Hi, thanks a million for all the work so far. Okay, so just one thing. This page I want to change to look like this. Something more like that. So we'll just have your statistics button at the top. Then you'll have your maybe like a tracking sign in the middle of a button that like that podcast button, and then underneath we'll just say track your workout. So if they click that, it'll go into the page, and we'll talk about that. The other one, this circle instead of upright slouched, should be able to give your daily stats. So it should be like say green, red for poor flexion, and then black for poor extension, and then just have that on the side. So that'll be their daily stats, kind of similar to what we have here, and that will be based on the calibration. So when you calibrate, when they go into their say calibration, it has live data. Say when they calibrate like their whatever their flexion was, whatever the extension was, press calibrate, then that will determine what is poor extension, poor flexion, and if they're in the middle, it'll be good, and just record the amount of time they're in each of those. The stats. One other thing with the stats page is if I say I click into here first, and I'll talk about this page because it needs to be cleaned up. But if I press back, it exits me out of the app. It'd be great if these could be percentages rather than like 393, 47, 20, it would be brilliant. So can we just make that percent? This is how it's looking now. So if I'm in good position. Okay, here's the app now, as it currently is. A few things to change. I'm going to change this so it's connected, but we'll call that back aware belt rather than the technical name. When I press the calibrate button, it shows the live data. This page, even though I like the font and all, that's just going to have to move up here because I don't want people having to click two pages. Just click auto calibrate for here. Going to change this around a little bit, just make it all on the one page and easier to see. And then the main page you would have seen was, it's called the stats page now. So I was in poor extension there, so I only put it on 2 seconds ago. So that'll record how long I've had it in, what percentage I've been good, what percentage I've been bad, and I'm gonna have to change that logo, but this is how it looks. If I put in, say, squat, and then I just press go, and it'll just record if I'm going down in a good position, and then if I round, see the way it hits to tell me I'm in a bad position as I go down and back up. If I arch my back, it'll tell me that it's poor, and I want to kind of be able to keep it. Oh, sorry, and it just gives you the name of the squat, how long I was in good position, what was in poor, and what was in poor extension. So you can look back and say what it was, and then if I want to go on to my next work move, I put that down so I can see when I'm in good position, when I'm in poor position.